Hey guys, welcome to the A-Space, and today we're going to be talking about the infamous YouTuber known as Kai Weiss. For those of you that are generally unaware, there's been a lot of new allegations levied against Kai Weiss that look very bad on him, but just in case you've never heard of this guy before, let's take a deep dive through his internet presence.
But the thing that makes this situation really shitty for me is that since I'm dealing with a lot of these charges, it's really hard to get the justice that I need to have in things that Hana is doing to me.
You see, Kai Weiss actually derives more from the art community, as you may know. But just for this, we're going to try to sum up just some of his most iconic controversies, I suppose. But to start us off with something really less severe, I guess, would be his false striking situation. To start us off, there was a small YouTuber at the time who went by the name of Akumu, who had nearly 500 subscribers, and he made a video on Kai Weiss. However, Kai was not too fond of it because I guess he had a 4-minute clip that was unedited. I know this is old, but at the time I would definitely say that maybe unedited 4-minute clip would be more lazy. However, it would still be able to be used just in fair use.
As to why my Kai video just vanished. Princess Kai fucking striked it. This nobody, less than 1K channel, less than 1K, pissed him off, made him so angry he had to abuse copyright to take it down.
Considering Kai Weiss's sizable platform, this would naturally gain a lot of attention, and since it was a false striking story, you know that the commentary community was definitely all over it. What was really interesting at the time, but kind of makes sense if you really think about it, is that John Swan would come out with a live stream and even have him on, and they would have an argument. However, I guess it would make sense because John Swan would always like talking about copyright just because he was really well educated in that topic. However, when I watched the stream again, it kind of really just proves that Kai Weiss really did not know what he was talking about, even something as little as just arguing about why Omnia wasn't a title in a thumbnail. However, I'll just show you a clip from the live stream just to give you a taste of what happened.
Relax, stop quacking, bro. Tell me what makes these people right.
Because I believe that they're correct. It would help if you watch the rest of the video. It would help if you watch the stream because I go over all of this in the stream.
Hold on, John, stop quacking, bro. Relax. Like I said, okay, so you believe that they're right. So it's a matter of opinion.
Yeah.
You think that they're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so what makes these? I don't get it.
Now, this live stream was just a really bad look for Kai in general. It made him look disingenuous. It made it look like he was just really bad faith and just not really knew what he was talking about. So he just went in face first with no knowledge of anything he was discussing. It even got annoying to points where Kai wouldn't even answer certain things, like why he used 8 minutes and 20 seconds of an 8-minute and 40-second video of from Mr. Sen, or used 4 minutes of unedited raw footage of Hopeless Peaches. But instead, he would spend a lot of his time during the stream trying to discredit John Swan just because he wasn't a lawyer. But then after all that, I'm just gonna try to briefly touch on this, not because I want to go too into it, but it does highlight a pattern of behavior if I talk about this. But Kai Weiss used to live with someone that would go by the name of Omnia, who would be really well respected and known in the art community. Now, this particular situation would go down an insane legal rabbit hole. Now, Omnia would claim to be abused by Kai, which they were definitely struck, and Kai did confirm. However, Kai, in defense of themselves, tried to say that it was out of self-defense. Whether you believe that or not is really up to your interpretation. On their court case, Kai did plead guilty, but apparently he said that it was because he took a plea deal. However, that is as much as I'm going to touch onto this topic. I only bring it up just because it's going to show a pattern of behavior later to what's being said in the document. However, if you want more in-depth knowledge, there's definitely videos out there that you could see to get more knowledge, and I'll link some in the description. Now, with that well-needed background of this guy's internet presence out of the way, now we can start getting into some things that are new and about the document.
Kai had a lot of temper tantrum problems. He would get really upset, really mad, real fast. And he's kind of like a tornado when it happens. I was just chilling.
Now, I feel like this might be the most heated segment of my video so far. However, I feel like it's very important to clear up what I feel like is wrong. In this document, I feel like there's going to be a lot of valid criticism to be had with Kai. However, I feel like if you try to call him a P3 to file, that muddies the waters. Now, it is true that the document starts off with saying the trigger warning, saying mentions of grooming, emotional verbal abuse, mentions of self-harm and suicide, coercion, cyberstalking, manipulation, and P3-dophilia. However, I feel like it's also important to note that even at the end of the document, the doc maker themselves doesn't even feel like that Kai is a P3 P3-ophile. And even that aside, I don't really feel comfortable labeling Kai a P3-ophile for being 23 and hooking up with someone who's 17 when they're 2 months away from turning 18. Like, a person who's 17 years old in 10 months would not be on the same level as someone who's like 14 or 12 or any of those ages, and if you're going to call Kai a P3-ophile, there's a very serious implication that he goes after people that are still like in middle school or something along those lines. You can make the argument that Kai is definitely reckless for like anything that's happened in this relationship, but to call him a full-blown P3-ophile, I feel like it's just way too much. The point of this segment is not just me just trying to give the thoughts on it in general. There's at least 2 different public figures that either heavily insinuate or call Kai a full-blown P3-ophile. I personally feel that this is important to call out because if you're going to say this about Kai, then you are muddying the waters and taking attention away from the actual serious and valid things to criticize. Now, one of the public figures that actually has this take has literally just called Kai a full-blown P3-ophile just right out the gate, and that would be none other than Omnia. Now, I would fully understand why like Omnia is definitely like one of the most mad ones at Kai. However, this recklessness could potentially ruin any seriousness of this case or anyone looking into it legitimately. The problem with something like this is that Kai could just easily point to this and dismantle how it's alive very easily and with no effort. They could just ignore every other serious allegation against them without any effort, really. Now, another person that I really wanted to bring up just because I really don't understand their logic when they talk about this is Goat Kato. Now, in the first screenshot we got here is Goat Kato saying 18 and 23 is fucking weird, please touch grass, an actual adult woman, and then they clarify with 5-year fucking age gap, but they can consent, they are 18. Okay, a 40-year-old can groom a 20-year-old, bro. Both are the age of consent, but the younger party is still being exploited. So a couple things. Yes, an 18-year-old is an adult, so saying that touch actual adult women is just a really weird thing to say when you're still talking about someone being an adult. Being 18 is literally the age of consent and becoming an adult. And really, big age gaps, if it's not with like a minor, right? Like, who really cares if like there's a 30 and 50-year-old dating each other, right? Like, I know that's not the example they used, but really at the end of the day, they're both like consenting adults, so really, who really cares at the end of the day? And sure, you can get into semantics and technicalities at the end of the day, but if you're going off the logic of a power dynamic, well, there's always going to be a power dynamic in any relationship. Whether it's harmful or not is really where it starts to matter. Another thing that Goat Kato says here is, guys, is it really that hard not to talk to children? Watching you fucking YouTubers drop like flies with grooming allegations every day, so glad I'm not a kid like her. Now, it's very obvious that Goat Kato was insinuating that Kai was a P3-ophile here. Now, even by Goat Kato's logic here, I could not understand how they can come to the conclusion that Kai Weiss would be seen as a P3-ophile for being 23 and going after someone who's 2 months away from 18. However, when there's a 37-year-old going after someone for 17, they're not a P3-ophile.
However, when you consider the fact that neither I nor the 14-year-old believe that Sydney is a pedo, then you have to ask yourself, how is this grooming? If you're not trying to get...
Okay. Well, if she's not a pedophile, how is it grooming? Okay, when I was 17, I got groomed by a 36-year-old. That doesn't make it pedophilia, but it's still grooming. Are you fucking stupid?
Now, just to reiterate, I felt like this segment was important to include because if you're going to call Kai Weiss a P3-ophile, that's only going to muddy the waters and give him an easy out when it comes to his response, with him ignoring all the valid things that's actually criticized against him. But now that that's all out of the way and addressed, let's actually start getting into the very serious and valid criticisms against Kai Weiss in this document.
We met on Hinge. I had lied on my profile and said that I was 18, and I was actually 17. After we had a brief discussion on Hinge, we started to communicate through my messages, and that's kind of just how we started talking.
So to actually open this up with proper context, when Kai was 23, he would meet Drea on the dating app known as Hinge, where she would claim to be 18, but then 5 days later, she would reveal that she was 17. This would all take place of January 2024, literally this year, and her birthday would be within March. They would find themselves to have common interests and genuinely actually start liking each other's company. However, it started to actually escalate from there. Kai would express to show interest in turning this long-distance relationship to a relationship where where they are not so long distance from each other. Drea still lived with their parents, which means that the decision was really up to her parents whether or not she could just literally fly to another place or not. In these conversations, it's very apparent that Drea and Kai were trying to spitball things that would actually lead to her giving her parents an excuse so that she could meet up with Kai in real life, whether it was a lie or not. I think an important piece of context, which will definitely be shown as important later, is that Drea's parents do not know that she's dating Kai or are really completely unaware of Kai at this moment. Another thing that's included in this document is Kai having like a mental breakdown and just spiraling down. And I think it's like a really important case to show that Kai could be really clingy, considering the reason why he has this downward spiral and mental decline is because she didn't say anything for 2 hours. I want to try to be fair and good faith, but I really don't know what kind of context would show that not talking to someone for 2 hours would lead to this sort of mental decline, and I'm really unaware of like why this led up to this. They would continue to have several arguments from this point on, showing that there's actually like some issues with their relationship, which they keep trying to talk out. It came to a point where Drea obviously wanted to end the relationship, but Kai was clearly afraid of that and would try to fight back on that. Apparently there was conversations where Kai would get mad and say, if you're really that mad at me, then just break up with me. Drea would try to take the offer, and Kai would just really freak out about that. It got so bad to the point where Kai would threaten suicide to her at times if she didn't try to pick up the phone or any of that sort, and ended up leaking the fact that he was dating her to her mother. At this point, she really put her foot down and ended the relationship with him and wanted nothing to do with him. And there's really no debate whether to say if these screenshots are real or not, because he literally confirmed it on his Twitter that these screenshots have a basis and are all real, and tried responding to it on Twitter but was really reckless about it in this now deleted tweet. I find it really ironic that he tried to make his whole thing I don't delete anything, even though now he's nuked a lot of his responses to this document on his Twitter now. But if you thought the breakup would be the end of the allegations, then you would be quite wrong.
Just do you seriously want to do that? Gabby. Do you seriously want, do you seriously want to do that?
So after Drea broke up with Kai, Kai would continuously keep trying to talk to Drea, as well as like sending a whole Twitter apology and making multiple email accounts to keep tabs on her. Now, if that didn't already like sound bad and creepy enough with just like the multiple emails and the whole long Twitter apology, there is something that Kai does that is really just genuinely unhinged. He leaves his voicemail as like a desperate attempt to try to get back to her and try to convince her to get back with him because he's just the best option she could ever have. But without further ado, let's start breaking apart the voicemail.
Wearing everything black Hello Kitty rock music and gifts. Oh my gosh, I wonder where the fuck that shit comes from. Gifts. The first fucking photo here is a photo that I took of you. Look, honestly, if this is the decision that you want to make, if this is truly what you want to do, that is fine. But if you want to talk this out, I can work shit out with your mom. I can work shit out however it needs to be worked out. I don't care. I can talk to your mom. I can talk to your dad. We're able to fix this. But you're making a mistake.
So besides literally just admitting to just stalking her Hinge profile after breaking up with her and just keeps trying to desperately just try to get back with her, that one comment about the I could talk with your mom and work stuff out is because her family was going through some financial issues, and Kai kept like bringing up the fact that I make $100K a year. So he's trying to like have this whole savior complex, and save Drea financially. At this point, if the only like case that you have to potentially get her back is with a paycheck, then maybe that's not a relationship worth having.
This is not what you want to do. And I know that this is not what you want to do. If you're hurt, I don't think that I'm so much hurt as you are hurt. If you really think that I'm not replaceable, then you can do that. But judging from the fact that you're still active in this fucking Hinge account, you haven't found a lot of luck in whoever it is that wants to date you. And then on top of that, there's also the people who have to find out that you're also in Bolivia. Just do you seriously want to do that?
I think like what's really annoying about this voicemail, other than the fact that he's obviously keeping tabs on her, is the fact that he keeps trying to present it like, I'm the only way out, I'm the only safe place for you to have. It just comes off as having a really huge savior complex, which is obviously manipulative for many reasons. I think it really comes off clear to me that Kai definitely has some mental issues over everything we've gone over, and I really hope for like anyone else in the future that he gets those like sorted out and checked out. Otherwise, there's probably going to be like a potential third woman, which will just be another toxic relationship, and it just becomes another public spectacle for everyone to see.
If this is seriously something that you want to do, then that's completely fine. I like, this shit is fucking ridiculous to me, which is why I'm not. But if you really want to do this, then that's fine. But like, you're looking for me in another person. And if you really think that you can replace me in the same week that you broke up with me without any complications in that next relationship, then you're making a mistake. I hope you think about this, and that's it for me.
Now, obviously, we all know that this looks really bad, but, you know, I'm really interested in, like, what Kai has to say, because when I reached out to Kai earlier for an interview, they, like, really freaked out and treated it as an irrational thing to get his side, and he talked about dealing with this, you know, a very thorough way, and he's never gonna, like, you know, muddy the waters on this, right? He's gonna be very thorough and precise. And the thing he decided to clarify first in the document is that he doesn't just make his money from YouTube, he has a real-life job. You know, out of all the allegations levied against him, this is the first thing that's the main priority for you, Kai. But you know what, obviously we all have real life jobs, and like he said, it's probably going to take him time to get around to doing his response, because you know everyone has full-time jobs, and oh, he blocked me. You know, maybe it's not that deep, you know, he's probably just annoyed that I'm giving like a lot of attention to allegations that, you know, it's pretty embarrassing for him, you know, it's pretty bad for him, and oh, now he's not going to respond to it. He's not making a response video. So I guess my final thoughts on the situation is, obviously, it looks really bad on him, but I'll still be waiting to see if he changes his mind to respond to it, but I'm not going to lie, this looks really clear-cut and bad against him, especially with that voicemail. But if there happens to be any updates on this situation, just stay tuned to my channel, because I'll most likely just cover it via live stream or another video if it's that big, or maybe just on my Twitter, so just keep your eyes peeled for that. But of course, remember to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Well, thanks for coming to the A Space, and I hope you guys have a great day.
We all got internet personas we hide behind. We all got demons deep inside us. We try to hide. And I forgot who